I remember when I was going for the IAS interview, I was going from the college where I was very happy as a teacher. The candidate before me was a lady. I still remember her. She was almost bathing in sweat, sitting there. So I asked her, what is the matter? Why are you sweating? Interview. I said, I have also come for interview. Why do you sweat like this? No, tension. And why are you not tense? I said, I am not tense. I have come for interview. If I get selected, it is okay. Otherwise, I enjoy my teaching job and I am happy. It is in my own place. I am happy, I said. So you must develop that confidence within yourself. For interview also, you don't get tense. There is no prescribed questionnaire that they ask. You go before a board of interview and they start a conversation with you. For example, in my interview, there is nothing that you can prepare and go. Okay, the first question they asked me was, what is the objective of NCC? Do you think that in IAS examination, this is something at the college level? When you join the NCC, you learn there is an examination called B examination, B certificate examination. You have to learn that. You don't expect this question to be asked at the IAS examination. But one of the, I had the B certificate in the NCC. So they say, you were in the NCC. What is the objective of NCC? And then they go from there. Then they go from there. Maybe they will ask about military service. Did you think of going to the army? Something like that. It depends on 4 or 5 people will be sitting. One person starts a question. And then you must have presence of mind. Presence of mind is something which has to be developed. Otherwise, if you become nervous, then you will not be able to answer. For example, they asked me a question. You are a student of English literature. You have read the books of Pandit Nehru? I said, yes. You have read the books of Mahatma Gandhi? I said, yes. Pandit Nehru was a prolific writer. Gandhiji was not such a prolific writer as Pandit Nehru. Whose style of English do you prefer? It's not a question which you prepared. I said, I prefer Gandhiji's style. So they were all surprised. Pandit Nehru was the Prime Minister at that time. And he was known all over the world as a great writer. Gandhiji was not known as a writer. He was known as a social reformist, a political activist, and a freedom fighter, and a great leader who gave a moral authority to lead the whole program of freedom struggle. But he was not known as a writer. So they were surprised that I said, I prefer the style of Gandhiji. They said, why? I said, Nehru writes from his intellect. Gandhiji writes from his heart. No, I am just giving you an example how this is, you are not prepared for this examination. For an interview of Indian Civil Service examination, it is not as though you expect some questions and you don't expect any questions. They are examining you, testing you to know your presence of mind, your confidence, and your capacity to communicate, articulate. Yes. So these are capacities you should develop. Because you are trained to be in jobs where different situations have to be faced. Nobody can imagine the situation that you'll be faced as a district collector. All the situations cannot be anticipated. For example, I will give you. We ask district collector or deputy commissioner and district magistrate, you are in charge of the law and order situation. Okay. You are to maintain law and order according to the rules of the criminal procedure code and other instructions of the government. But this is a living situation. People are there, agitators are there, their lives are there, you have got authority. There was an agitation when I was collector of Dharwar. agitation for Belgaum. Even now that issue is not solved. Yeah, I was deputy commissioner in the year 1970, 50 years back. That even at that time there was a big agitation. Dharwad was a university center. There were 10,000 students on the campus. The students were involved in this agitation. They announced that they will stop the train coming from Bangalore to Pune at Dharwad station at about 2 o'clock, hot daytime. So myself and then the superintendent of police at that time was Mr. D.R. Karthikeyan. You must have heard about him. He is from Karnataka cadre. He retired as Director General of CBI, a very high position. He was superintendent of police with me. So both of us went to the railway station to see that there is some law and order and the train is allowed to move because there are passengers inside. 10,000 students all surrounding the railway station. Why I am saying this is, this situation cannot be anticipated by any training program. You have to deal with the situation. Okay. So we were there at the station, students there with, and those days students were carrying stones on one hand and on the other hand they were carrying onions. For the first time I realized that onions have got an effect when tear gas shells are given. If you apply onion on your eyes, you will not be having a problem. Did you know this? You would not have known. That is information which we did not study in the IAS or IPS. We learned it because students were carrying this. I said, why are you carrying stones in one hand and onions on the other? You throw stones at the police are going to tear gas shells, they will apply onions. That was the kind of situation. We were there. The train was stopped by the students. Hot sun. Women and children were there. They were putting their noses outside, lifting the window because they were afraid of stones and trying to breathe. Myself and the superintendent of police were standing near that. A lot of policemen all around. I called the leaders who were sitting in front of the train. There were no mobiles at that time. I called them. So the students all around the station noticed that the leaders were being called by the collector. I called them and said, what do you want? Don't you see the sufferings of these people inside the train? Imagine it is your mother or sister who is there in the train. Will you allow this to happen? They said, some of them later became MLAs and legislators and all that. I don't want to mention the names. They said, Belgaum is more important than this. I said, all right. You want publicity? You want publicity tomorrow in the newspaper that you have stopped the train for 1 hour in Dharwad? As district magistrate, I am telling you, I will allow you. You please allow the train to move. I will give a statement in the press tomorrow that you have stopped the train for 5 hours. Okay? What training is this? So response to situation. Response situation. The students, they were very happy. What they wanted was a publicity that we have stopped the train. And the collector is saying that I will give you 5 hours. They left the train. You know, what did the students all around think? That the collector and the SP have called the leaders and threatened them. So they started pelting stones from all over. One stone hit me, another stone hit the SP. When the SP was started bleeding a little bit, the sub-inspector came and said, sir, it's time for firing. Now if you ordered fire, and if the magistrate is there, I had to order the firing. If you ordered firing, at least 50 students would have died. I said, no, you will not order firing. If I ordered firing and killed 50 students, I could have justified it because there was evidence of their violence and attacking the police and everything. But I told myself that if I kill 50 students, I may be able to justify to the government, but I won't be able to go and sleep. Okay, so I told the SP, no, we will not do that. I remember very distinctly one sub-inspector coming and saluting the SP and me and saying, sir, this is misplaced kindness. Misplaced kindness. He said, no, let them say like that. It is our responsibility. We allowed them a little lathi charge, and then the whole thing was over. The train went, students dispersed. 5 days later, one of the students who was beaten by the police comes to me for a verification certificate for his passport. I said, how do you come to me? I don't know you. Sir, in your presence only I was beaten. So that is the acquaintance. I said, well, I don't remember you, but I appreciate the way you introduce yourself as a man who was beaten in my presence. And he said, sir, we were only beaten. You could have killed us on that day. You could have killed us. You were only beaten. I went home, my mother applied some oil and massage and all that. I'm all right. I'm here before you. These are beautiful experiences, you know. There is no training. This is not a training. This is where you train yourself with confidence to face a situation. This is what they will test in the interview. So a person who wants to try for civil services, particularly Indian Military Service, must develop this habit of having confidence in oneself, face any situation with confidence. That is also a quality which they will test in the interview.
If you liked our program, please do like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.